A Silent Voice is a film packed to the brim with emotional moments. There are scenes that will make you cry from sadness, happiness, shock, and a whole other slew of emotions. It's hard to pick out every single one of these scenes, so what I decided to do was ask others who've seen the movie what their favorite scenes were and why. If you've seen the movie, you might expect the answers they gave. Like I said, picking every emotional scene would take some serious time and thinking, but the most impactful and emotional scenes are almost universally agreed on by anyone who's seen the movie. And for good reason. But while we can say stuff like, "Oh yeah, that scene was so good," we don't often think about why that is. So, today, I'm going to be breaking down and explaining what are arguably the 3 most emotionally impactful and best scenes from A Silent Voice. You ready? Let's do it. So, if you've seen the movie, which if you haven't, do so before watching this, seriously, go, watch it right now. You have Netflix, don't lie to me. Watched it? Good. Now that we're all on the same page, you'll probably be able to guess at least 2 of the 3 scenes I'm going to talk about. So, let's get the obvious 2 out of the way, starting with Nishimiya's attempted suicide. Nishimiya's suicide attempt is one of, if not the most important scene in the entire movie. The movie up to this point wasn't exactly all sunshine and daisies, but it's at this point that the movie fully shifts in tone for its final and most emotional act. The scene is set up beautifully, and an observant viewer should already be a little concerned going into it. Nishimiya leaves the fireworks display with her reasoning being that she wants to go study, which wouldn't be strange if we weren't already told that the school year is over. So already, the audience is on edge. We then see Ishida make his way to her apartment while the music plays quietly alongside him. Let me mention this now, but the music in this movie is like ridiculously good. In fact, every scene I'm going to mention is only as good as it is because of the music, and you'll see what I mean in just a moment. While Ishida enters the apartment, we can hear the music starting to climb in both speed and volume, and once he notices Nishimiya climbing onto the balcony's edge, the very quick and aggressive bass begins. What is shown next is one of my favorite visual effects in the whole movie, which is Ishida's blurred and dizzy vision, which is perfectly accurate to anyone who's had that kind of panic or anxiety before. We also get to hear exactly what Nishimiya hears, which is just the deep rumble of the fireworks. All of this builds and builds until we get the perfect scream of fear from Ishida, followed by the toll of a bell to reveal Nishimiya jumped. After this beautiful shot of a blurred view of fireworks, it's shown that Ishida made it just in time. We then get to see a very real show of desperation from Ishida as he begins to pray to God for just an ounce more of strength. He promises to make things right, to face his demons, to start living again. And then we get this. The way the music plays subtly in the background, leading to Ishida's grunting as he desperately tries to pull Nishimiya up until the final piano strike when he falls. I still even now can't help but get teary-eyed, even though I know he survives. The scene just builds up perfectly, music, visuals, writing and all. And for a first time viewing it, it ends in an unexpected way. The entire scene is simply amazing. The next scene I want to discuss is, of course, the final scene of the movie. Here we see Ishida going to the school fair with his new group of friends, accompanied by the song Lit. This scene is simply stellar. In it, we get to see Ishida finally realizing something that he long ago forgot. Something that we all forget sometimes. And that is that life is beautiful. We all go through hard times. We all close in on ourselves. We all sometimes feel like we're at the end of our wits. All of us. And that's okay. It's why, despite the circumstances in which Ishida became isolated, we can still relate to him. Because of his past actions, Ishida feels he isn't worthy of love or happiness. It's why he X's out everyone. It's why he can't look anyone in the eye. He doesn't think he deserves to. This scene ties directly into an earlier one, where we see Ishida, quite ironically, covering his ears to block out the world around him. And here we can see the opposite, as he uncovers them for the first time in what could be years. The sound of the world can be heard tuning back in. The X's on everyone's face falls off, all as the music crescendos. Ishida is finally back, and when he looks around at all his friends, all the people who stuck by him, all the people that he's helped in one way or another, all the people who had loved him unconditionally despite all the things he thought was wrong with him, he begins to cry. The beauty of the world and of life and happiness he's rejected have become clear to him once more as all his friends, new and old, flash in his mind. Ishida comes to realize something that we all sometimes forget. We are all worthy of love, each and every one of us. The scene ends with Nishimiya, the one who helped him realize just how much life matters, the one who helped him live, and the one he helped live. I feel like it would have made more sense to talk about all these scenes in chronological order, because it probably would have made the pacing a whole lot better for this video. Actually, I think me explaining that only makes the pacing worse now. Oh well. The last scene I want to mention takes place near the beginning of the movie, and it's actually my favorite scene in the entire film. That scene is Ishida and Nishimiya's fight in the classroom. There's just something, or perhaps multiple things about this scene that just break my heart, and I love it. We've been shown a lot about both Nishimiya and Ishida at this point in the film. We saw how even though being tormented by her peers, Ishida most of all, she still tries to be as friendly and nice as possible, going as far as to apologize when Ishida gets in trouble for ripping her hearing aid out. And he responds exactly how you might think he would up to this point. Even after all that, even after 8 of her hearing aids have been broken or thrown away by Ishida, she still goes out of her way to clean the hurtful messages off his desk. This is something he simply can't comprehend. He blames her for losing his friends and thinks she's just faking being nice. It's clear Ishida is unaware of what true kindness is, and based on his friends, that isn't surprising. It's only once Ishida starts shoving, grabbing, and yelling at Nishimiya aggressively that she finally retaliates, and in self-defense. Ishida starts punching her, and she desperately tries to push him off. All of this while the piece IVS is playing. It's a beautiful piece of music made up of piano and bells, and it combined with Nishimiya's crying tears me up. And the line that she yells to Ishida is what I think makes this scene the saddest in the film. Those words. The first time I heard that line, I was just torn up by it. Through all of her bullying, Nishimiya is trying so hard to just fit in with the rest of her class while not being a burden. She just wants desperately to have a friend. She's trying the best she can, and the problem is, with children, that just often isn't enough. I think people with disabilities are some of the most inspiring people there are, and anyone who bullies them are simply sick. With children especially though, it's hard. As people, most of us are hardwired to be put off by things we don't understand, fear of the unknown. As we mature, we obviously begin to realize there's nothing to be afraid of or creeped out by, but it's tough for kids. That's why Nishimiya's efforts and tears of frustration hurt so much. There isn't anything she can do, try though she might. The music, atmosphere, message, all of it. It just perfectly sets this movie up and Ishida's entire arc of redemption. And that's why I think it's the best scene in the entire movie. So, what do you think? Do you agree with me that those are the 3 best scenes in the movie? Let me know, and if you have a different take, feel free to leave it in a comment. I really hope you enjoyed today's video and you'll stick around for more content in the future. Next video will probably be on Your Lie in April, so make sure to subscribe if you want to stay up to date for that. Anyway guys, that's all from me. Enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.